Thank you, Dr. Liao. So I'm really delighted to be here to represent the Australian Academy of Science at this celebration of the 90th anniversary of the Academies Sinica. It's a real privilege to be invited to speak in such distinguished company, and I particularly thank the organisers for setting us such an important and thought-provoking topic as the roles and challenges of the National Academy. So, the Australian Academy of Science was established only in 1954 as an independent non-profit organisation of individuals elected for their contributions to science and research. Our headquarters, where we meet in Canberra, is this iconic building, the Shine Dome. We have currently around 530 fellows who are elected from all areas of the physical, mathematical, biological and medical sciences. These fellows work in universities and research institutes around the country, and they contribute to the Academy's work in their own time as volunteers. At our annual symposium here in the Shine Dome, we also welcome members of the Australian Early and Mid-Career Research Forum, which is a group made up of researchers within 15 years of being awarded their PhD. This forum is important in allowing the Academy to engage with Australia's future scientific leaders and helping to give young scientists a voice at national level and government level. In Australia, we have separate academies for the humanities, social sciences, engineering and technology, and a new academy just formed of the health and medical sciences, and all these academies cooperate together on a number of programs. So I'd like to focus on three main roles and challenges, and I have time just to say a little bit about each one of these. So I think our first role and challenge is to be an influential voice at a national level by providing independent and rigorous advice to our governments and informing the public on issues of national and international importance. Secondly, we should do our best to communicate and educate at all levels to try and improve the scientific literacy of society, to help people realise the importance of evidence-based decision-making. And finally, our role is to bring people together, recognising that scientific research is increasingly a global endeavour and that we need to be inclusive in our efforts to recognise excellence and to involve people in our activities. So beginning with policy advice to government, of course our Academy engages very closely with government agencies and with elected officials to provide advice on a whole range of policy issues. Policy advice is developed by consultation with individual fellows, with our executive committee, and often with the consultation of the National Committees for Science. So we put out position papers, discussion papers on emerging issues, parliamentary briefings, submissions to government inquiries, and increasingly, as you see on the right here, within individual disciplines, decadal plans for the development of that discipline within our country and its international links. We also take positions of public advocacy on important issues such as climate change and immunisation, where we feel that there's a need to inform the public. So we're particularly involved in recent years in science education and in public communication of science. And with funding from the Australian government, we've developed 3 education programs for primary and early secondary schools. You can see these are primary connections for young children, science by doing for secondary schools, and maths by inquiry. And all these programs take a guided learning approach that enhances problem-solving ability, science literacy and numeracy, and also provides a number of resources to support science teachers in delivering the program. So one objective of our Academy's current strategic plan is to expand public awareness and understanding of science in our country. We've done this in recent years through booklets, through our web pages, and social media links, but the new development last year was that the Council of the Academy began, under the guidance of our past President Andrew Holmes, who's here today, a pilot program to produce in-house videos that we could then publish on social media to reach as wide an audience as possible. So we had 2 priorities in doing this. The first was credibility, so the idea that Because these videos came from the Academy, they would be peer-reviewed by Academy staff and would have this stamp of independence and credibility. But we also wanted to have them to be very high quality, and so the in-house production team that makes these videos includes a former TV executive producer, a former head of TV graphics, and supervising producer, so people with great experience in the media industry. And all of these videos are checked for accuracy. This has been already in the first year enormously successful. You can see the video clip at the top here. This was an Australian winner of this year's Fields Medal. Facebook page with these videos on is now seen by over 1 million people, and we've received awards for these. So this has been tremendously successful. We've always had a strong link to international engagement, not only through the International Science Council, but through adhering to 31 separate scientific unions and committees. And we're also very closely involved with the international scientific unions and their committees in our own region of Asia Pacific. I'd like to take the last couple of minutes of my talk to go into the subject of gender equity in science, which has been an area where our Academy is trying to take very distinct and concrete actions over the last 5 years. You can see a quote here again from Andrew Holmes pointing out that most science disciplines are dominated by men in senior positions, even though at the beginning of their careers roughly equal numbers of women and men now obtain PhDs in science. So this is not only inherently unfair and unequal, but it's a great loss of talent for our country if women who are capable are not involved to the full extent in science. So in Australia at the moment, only about 17% of professors of science and leading researchers are women, and among the fellows of our Academy, that fraction is even lower, it's under 14%. So I want to tell you about some of the work we're doing to try and redress this balance. In 2015, the Academy of Science launched the SAGE program, Science in Australia Gender Equity, in partnership with the Australian Academy of Technology and Engineering. So SAGE is based on the successful UK Athena Swan program for higher education and research institutes. In the UK, this has been very successful over the past decade in improving both the promotion and the retention of women in science and universities. In Australia, this program has already been taken up by 45 different institutions, and interest is continuing to grow. Another Australian program that may be not so well known elsewhere is the Male Champions of Change. This is a group of men, a high-profile coalition of men who are leaders, often presidents of companies or organisations, who have made a commitment to drive change within their own organisations and communities on gender equity issues. And I think this has been really a very effective and influential group because these men really do have the position to make changes. Within our own Academy, we've also taken a number of concrete steps to improve gender and diversity among our fellows while still maintaining the same requirements for excellence and eminence in research. So we've taken a whole range of initiatives. I don't have time to talk about all of those at the moment, but we have established an equity and diversity reference group that reports directly to our council. We've arranged unconscious bias training for our sectional committees. We've written annually to the presidents and vice chancellors of universities, asking them please to make sure that they nominate qualified women candidates, because these women are often reluctant to put the names forward themselves. And within our fellows, we've also identified champions of diversity to be ambassadors in improving diversity in nominations to the Academy. So while there's still a lot to do, we have actually made progress. Over the last 5 years, 36% of the new fellows elected to our Academy have been female, and that's a significant rise from the previous 5 years when it was only 11%. So we do have concrete evidence that these initiatives have been successful in improving the diversity of the fellows of our Academy. We also found that between men and women, once the women are nominated and the men are nominated, there's no significant gender difference either in the age of those elected or in the likelihood that they will be successfully elected to the Academy. So I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to talk about the role and activities of our Academy, also to congratulate the Academia Sinica on this very significant anniversary, and I look forward to hearing from other presenters about their own experiences. Thank you very much.